Welcome to the Bottle Poppin' Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi, this is Heather.
And we are the Bottle Poppin' Podcast. So we thought for this very first one, we would just do an introduction and tell you a little bit about us. So let's start with the most important question. Heather, what bottle are you popping today and what's your favorite one to pop currently?
So I have been using the brand new Copaiba roller. I feel like it has worked really well because I've had some recent arm and neck pain after sleeping funny. And the chemical constituents that are in Copaiba actually have anti-inflammatory properties. So I have been rolling it on the back of my shoulder blade and down my arm. And it gives me several hours of relief before I need to do it again. And it's calming, which is awesome too. So that is what I've been using recently. But my all-time favorite bottle to pop, and I'm sure we'll get around to talking about this one at some point, is Balance. It's so calming and I just absolutely love it. So what about you? What are you popping?
So my favorite changes all the time. But right now, one that I'm definitely relying on is Adaptive, and the roller specifically because it's so easy to apply. But I love the fact that Adaptive helps me deal with anything, like literally adapt to any situation. So we've had, it's COVID time. So there's been stress, but also just a lot going on. And it's awesome at helping me feel balanced and ready to take on the day. So I'm loving Adaptive right now.
Excellent. Let's talk about how we got started with doTERRA. So when did you get started and what really attracted you to doTERRA's oils?
I started with the oils in 2012. I actually was invited to a essential oil party. And what I thought I was going to was like a fun, let's make our own home cleaning products, because that was my extent of understanding of essential oils. And instead, I was totally blown away with all the health benefits. And it was perfect timing too, because I had just the week before had a doctor tell me that one of the medications I was on was causing all kinds of horrible side effects. And she really encouraged me to find something natural. And she didn't say essential oil. She didn't give me real direction other than I needed to get off this one product because it was doing a lot of damage. And so it just kind of felt like perfect timing the following week to go to a class where I thought I was learning about cleaning products. And instead I learned about like natural things that can improve your health. And so, I bought a kit and started using it and felt a huge difference. So I was sold on it right from that point. So how about you? How did you get started?
I love that. I love that you had such success right off of the bat. I had dabbled in oils for a while, but I definitely did not know there was anything to different brands. And so I would buy things at the grocery store and I would try to buy the healthiest option, something that seemed to be the most natural, but I didn't really know much about it. Once I really learned that purity matters, not only for what you want the oil to do for you, but then how it's going to affect you with side benefits versus side effects, I really started to believe that doTERRA was the best option for me. And so I finally got a doTERRA account in 2018 and am so happy. It was a deep dive from there. I think my husband and I were both starting to turn to more natural solutions. We really wanted something less toxic for our household with young kids. And so it just seemed like the perfect timing. And both of us just immediately started using all kinds of oils and products at doTERRA's, and we've loved it ever since.
I love that y'all bought in together too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to start doing the actual business and selling essential oils?
So I think a lot of people start using doTERRA specifically and they fall in love with the product immediately like we did. And so our natural inclination was to just start telling people about it. It's as if you went to this really great restaurant and you wanted to make sure all your friends went to the great restaurant. Well, here we had this thing that all of a sudden was helping us with multiple things around our house, whether it was sleep issues or digestion issues or just cleaning our home naturally. And so we just started talking to people. And next thing I knew, people were like, oh, well, I want some of that. And so I would tell my friend that had introduced
that random friend
that had introduced them to me. And finally, you were like, okay, stop bringing them to me. Why don't you just do the business side of it? And that was not something I had ever considered. But yes, why not? If it's so simple to want to share this thing that's been successful for you, then that was an easy thing. So thank you for that suggestion. And what about you? Why did you decide to start selling doTERRA?
So what's funny is I never had the decision to start selling. I distinctly remember having the decision to not sell because at that very first class or a party that I went to, they did at the end talk about the business. And I remember sitting there and being like, nope, not for me. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. Like, yeah, I'll try these oils out, but no, I'm definitely not ever selling them. But the thing is, kind of like you, they worked. And so anytime I was around anybody who had an issue, somebody mentioned that they had a headache, I'm like, ooh, try this, and somebody else had a stomach ache. And I'm like, oh, try this. And then people would want to buy, And so I, for a long time, kind of like you, would send them to my friend who originally hosted the party. And then that friend actually reached out to me and asked if I would mind hosting a party. And I was like, sure, why not? And what's funny is, again, I was not thinking that I would ever sell the oils, but at that party, I had maybe 10 people show up. But at the end of the party, my friend showed me, she said, are you sure you don't want to do the business? And I said, no, definitely not for me. And then she said, okay, well, this party, I made $400, but if you want to do the business, then this is your $400. And I was like, oh, well, $400, sure. So I still didn't really know what I was doing, but I'm so grateful that it happened naturally. And even at that point, I had shared oils with so many people that I continued to have people just ask me. And I love the fact that I can help people with something natural like this. So it was a pretty easy transition. Again, I guess that was my decision point, but only because there was a check right there. But even then, I was not fully bought into doing the business. So
where else can you be found on social media? We are going to try to keep our podcast fairly short and sweet. We'll talk about a different topic each week, but if somebody wants to find you somewhere else, where else can they find you?
Definitely the easiest place to find me is at Balance Redeemed, and that can be anywhere. So I am balance.redeemed on Instagram. And then I also have a Balance Redeemed page on Facebook. And then I have the website balanceredeemed.com. So I will mention, because people might jump to it and be a little confused, I do within my business both essential oils and nutrition. So you'll see a good mixture of the two, but that's the best place to find me. How about you?
Instagram is at Juggling Simplicity, and the website is www.jugglingsimplicity.com. And both are primarily devoted to oils. The website specifically, my Instagram page is a little bit more combination of oils and other natural living. So good tips for things on there as well.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about us and will join us. Our plan is we'll do one more just kind of overall introductory podcast. And then after that, we'll be highlighting a different oil and popping a different oils bottle going forward. So stick with us.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.